Thank you, Senator. At this time, I want to acknowledge the 10 programs who actually received the funds through the Connecticut Mentoring Fund, and I want you to hear from them firsthand about what took place. So I'm going to introduce you briefly to 5 of our providers, and they're going to tell their story. So Steve Lanza, could I call on you first? Steve is the Executive Director of Family Reentry in Bridgeport. Steve is a longtime friend of the Governor's Prevention Partnership and also of mentoring. His organization is leading the way in mentoring with youth affected by incarceration and also youth that are affected by the juvenile justice system. Everything that he does is cutting edge, and we can always count on Steve every time we need a partner in Norwalk or in the Fairfield County area. So Steve, could you come up?
Thank you, Jill. I do want to speak specifically about how these funds have been very helpful to our programs. As Jill said, evaluation data collection is critical to program improvement, to having outcomes so we can have sustainable funded programs. All of that in reality translates to more services, to more youth, to better outcomes for those youth. And I know Senator Gomes mentioned the name of a particular mentee. I believe that mentee is in our program, and I can tell you that as a result, simply as a result of better data collection, better quality assurance, fidelity to the best practices in mentoring, we have been able to attract mentors, sustain mentors, to attract additional funding to our program. And Brianna has done extremely well over the 2 years she's been in our program, coming out of extreme exposure to childhood adversity to actually, as Senator Gomes said, blossoming. So that is really key. So the outcomes, we can't just collect the data. We have to translate that data into measurable outcomes, and we can see it in the lives and the lived experience and the futures of all the kids that we work with. So that's where the real outcomes are, and that's what should give everybody in this room faith and hope in the importance of these programs and continuing to fund them. Thank you.
During her remarks, Representative Pat Dillon talked about the corporate investment in mentoring and how important that was. I'd like to introduce our board member, Janice Perkins from Connecticut, who is sitting over here. And we have another board member with us, Ken Walker, and First Niagara Bank actually made one of the first private investments in mentoring. Ken, would you join us to say a few words?
Good afternoon. My name is Ken Walker, and I'm very proud to be representing First Niagara on the Governor's Prevention Partnership Board of Directors. At First Niagara, one of our main focuses is youth mentoring. It's very important to us, and we started within the bank a Mentoring Matters program, and we thought that there really could be 2 great outcomes from this type of investment and kind of philosophy. One would be just the direct philanthropic contribution to the organizations and the people they support. But additionally, what it does is it offers a path, kind of a channel for the employees to contribute their efforts and their expertise and their interest in the same passions. So we kind of thought that was kind of a win-win situation. There are really 3 parts that the dots connect as to the benefits of youth mentoring, in our opinion. The first is just the direct impact upon the programs and the people that we support in the 4 states of our footprint in the Northeast. But it goes more than that. It goes more to, once those kids get the mentoring they need, it then translates into the workforce in their communities and the improvement in the quality of the workforce, the dedication of the workforce, the education of the workforce, and then that translates into the economies. And all the local economies that benefit from that improvement, it becomes kind of a circle, a cycle, and it's really kind of a win-win as we look at it. So we're very proud to be part of the Governor's Prevention Partnership. We helped start, as Jill just said, the Connecticut Mentoring Fund, and we cannot be more proud to be a part of it. And we are terribly excited for the 10 recipients that earned the awards, and we want to congratulate them and wish them the best in their future endeavors with the funds and their organizations. We also want to thank just the General Assembly. It's very important that these efforts become kind of team-oriented. It takes a village, as we all say, to make things work. So we feel like, we love to contribute to these type of causes. The General Assembly has as well, and together I think we're going to find some real great growth in these type of programs. Finally, just as another note, Jill and her staff have been fantastic. This is a passionate, hardworking, dedicated organization to the lives of the youth in Connecticut. And we cannot be more excited to be associated with them. So thank you very much for your time, and thank you for the contributions you've all made. Appreciate it.
Thank you for your kind words, Ken. I really appreciate it. You're right about a village, and I'd also like to acknowledge that Dawn from Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services is here, who's been a funder of the partnership from day one and has a strong investment in mentoring. So thank you for being here. And I see that we're also joined by Senator Coleman. And Senator Coleman, would you care to say a few words about youth mentoring, or the effects of mentoring youth in your district?
Well, I apologize for joining you late. I was a part of another press conference on another subject, but let me not belabor the issue and just simply add that for all of the time that I spent in the General Assembly, one of my highest priorities has been the development of young people. And to the extent that, and I think this does that to a great extent, and specifically focusing on 10 people, but doing a lot for young people in general. So I'm extremely supportive of it, and thank you for asking me to be a part of it.
Thank you so much for being here.
Into last year, where we were able to support 386 students. This year we're already supporting 712, and that's in direct response to receiving additional funding through the Mentoring Fund to support a community outreach associate position. That's allowed us to go out and recruit additional mentors, and we're seeing tremendous success from that. So I thank Jill, thank you, and the partnership for that, and the General Assembly, First Niagara, for all their support. The other pronged approach that we're taking is looking at collaborating with other mentoring programs in the city of Stamford, and we're building a hub, a mentoring collaborative that's going to allow us to put together a citywide recruitment plan to really expand mentoring services, and the partnership is at the forefront in supporting that, and we look to continue to work with Jill and your staff to bring that and make that happen, to bring more mentors to the students in Stamford. So thank you.